Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 3 of Crusader Kings 2. Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play, that is. Today, I have sort of a topic that I wanted to talk about. So, when you watch the video, it's probably going to be titled Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play Episode 3 / Let's Discuss. And, the topic that I want to discuss today is going to be Dark Souls 2. So you know, stay tuned for that. But stay tuned. Yep, because this is like a race, because I have not played this game for almost, well, a week and 1 day, essentially. So I have no idea what's going on. I think I was this country, right? I don't know. Yep. As soon as everything decides to load. Yep, that's definitely us. Alright. Let's just put it right there. Independent Realms. That is us, baby. Or I don't know. Alright, so I don't remember. I paused the video, I guess, during the middle of that extraordinarily long loading screen, and I don't know when it actually started pausing, so I'm just gonna start again from what I was saying. Whilst the video, I assume, was paused, and so I wanted to talk about Dark Souls 2 this video. And I played a lot. I put a lot of time into Dark Souls 2. I put in about 39 hours in one character, and I have another character that I put in like almost directly 5 hours into, and I just started another character that's an hour and 15 minutes in. The 39/8, let's just call it the 40-hour character. The 40-hour character is about, if I had to guess, maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of the way done with the game. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I will be done with the game pretty soon on that character. Although I am having a bit of trouble because the game's pretty hard. So yeah, and yeah, I'll give you that. Alright, so yeah, I'm almost done with that character. I started the 5-hour character, the character that of course I'm 5 hours into, because I wanted to make a sorcerer character, because my other character is sort of a, let's actually play the game. He's the main character, the 40-hour character, is like a faith/strength build. So you know, he has like, and also he has like no attunement slots. I have two faith spells on that character. To buy a ring. Thanks, autosave. So yeah, what was I? Gosh, game, just please keep deep. So he's like a faith-based strength character. He has 2 attunement slots only because I bought a ring that gives me an extra attunement slot. And that cost a lot of money. That was like 30,000 souls. And so he has well, strength/dexterity. He's kind of a quality build, but like the main weapons I use are strength weapons, so you know. I used to use a greatsword, but now I use his Zweihander. Zweihander? Pretty sure it's Zweihander. I don't know how to pronounce words from other countries, so, you know. Anyways, so I can say that with about 45, let's say 44 to like 46 hours of experience with the game, I feel safe enough to like give like solid opinions on the game, if you know what I mean. Like, voice my opinion and not feel like a complete dummy, at least. So The first thing I kind of wanted to talk about was, excuse me as I just check my military. Where's that? It's about 1,000. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I'll probably beat this guy in a war. The first thing I wanted to talk about was that. Sorry, just game diverting my attention again. The first thing I wanted to talk about was problems that people have with the game and why I don't agree with them on those problems. Now, primarily, now this is not like you know, like I'm gonna try to shout out, or not shout out, but kind of like call out another YouTuber here, because one, I have no reason to. I mean, I have, like, you know, let's be honest here, like, no people really watch my videos, but this is just kind of me, like, wanting to get my ideas out there. I've only watched one video of a YouTuber, excuse me, trusting, let's do that. Who cares? Anyways. But anyways, I saw a video from the YouTuber RockLeeSmile, who's famous for his indie impressions series, where he takes a look at various free to, like, you know, $5 or so, maybe $15 indie games, but mostly like free, weird, artsy indie games. He's really a good YouTuber. You should check him out. The only thing is that I'm going to use him primarily as an example because he's the only video I've seen where people like express major things wrong that they find with Dark Souls 2. That is I've watched like I've watched like the first like 5 to 10 episodes of at least 3 different YouTubers. That was both that's not good. We're RockLeeSmile, Northernlion, and EpicNameBro. EpicNameBro is a pretty big guy in sort of Dark Souls / Souls game series, Let's Playing and stuff like that. He even worked on the strategy guide for Dark Souls 2, but as of yet, I don't think he's made a video where he's necessarily expressed like his overall like opinion, you know, per se. Hello. With Dark Souls 2, or, you know, I don't think he even really did that with Dark Souls 1. So I think I'd have to watch like all of his Let's Play videos. The same with Northernlion. All of these people, by the way, I mean, obviously EpicNameBro likes it because he wrote the strategy guide, so obviously he has some sort of like for the game. But Northernlion and RockLeeSmile, they're all like very big fans of Dark Souls in general. They played the first game a lot, so, you know, I feel like they do come from areas of, well, I wouldn't say expertise, but, you know, just, they come from, not areas of, like, ill intent, they come from areas of, you know, wanting, like, the game series to do well, and stuff like that. So, you know, this isn't me trying to kind of call out RockLeeSmile or anything, because this is things I've also read a lot in, like, YouTube comments and stuff like that, of, like, lots of videos, you know, so it's nothing like that. It's just he's like the easiest person to refer to because he's like the only person that I know of that I actually want to watch that's made like a first impressions after, like, you know, completing Dark Souls 2 video. So if I remember correctly, one of the main things that he complained about in the game was that let's see. He complained a lot about graphics, and not necessarily like graphics, as in like the graphics are necessarily bad. More or less just he says that there's lots of graphics issues. He feels like the graphics are a little low res, but I mean for the PC version to come out so that they can like get good graphics. So like they both realize that the Xbox and PS3 versions, they played the Xbox versions. Excuse me, taking a drink. They both realize that the console versions aren't gonna have that great of graphics because the consoles are a little outdated. Like like what, 8 to 9 years now. That's almost like a decade of the same console generation. So like yeah, like they pretty much realize that the consoles are not gonna be the best looking. Primarily, what RockLeeSmile was complaining about was that he said that there was lots of things such as like, excuse me, I just need to see what this is about. Okay, that's cool. Anyways, so things like what are they called? Like environment holes and stuff like that, where like there's like big holes in like the environment and stuff because of like like textures and stuff like that, like like kind of like ugly like seams and things like that, repeating textures. He says like certain places in the game, like the art style, or like not like the art style, but like the decoration of the world itself feels a little like underwhelming. Like for instance, he says that after you fight lots, there's like 4. Is it 4? I think it's 4. There's like 4 main bosses you have to fight in the game before you can get to the end game. But after you fight these bosses, you kind of just go into like this, well, you kind of walk through this hallway, which might have a chest on the end, like on the sides or not, and you kind of walk into this room, and it's kind of like a barren room, where there isn't much stuff inside of it, and like I don't really know like how to describe it, but like there isn't much stuff inside of it. It's just kind of like, well, okay, the first one, the one in the Lost Bastille, if you played the game at all or know anything about it, Lost Bastille is kind of like one of the, it's essentially going to be probably the first major, like one of the main bosses you fight in the game. I mean, I think it's pretty much, I don't know, there might be a way you can get around it, but I think that it's almost like you kind of have to go to the Lost Bastille. And so you're definitely gonna probably see the Lost Bastille and fight that the Lost Sinner, or the Last. Is it the Lost or the Last? Whatever, it doesn't matter. You're gonna fight him, her. I think it's a her actually. Whatever, doesn't matter. Just get to the point. You're gonna fight that boss, and then when you fight the boss, you're gonna walk through like a hallway, and it's just gonna be like a brick stone hallway. It's not gonna be very decorated, and then there's gonna be a chest on the right or left side. Don't remember, it doesn't matter. And you're gonna walk into essentially a square room with nothing inside of it really, and there's gonna be a bonfire in the middle. Now, I will concede that one seems underdeveloped. You know what I mean? That's cool. Alright, that one does seem underdeveloped and kind of like they just got a little lazy, Yeah, that one they should have done something with, because I feel like the one thing that's very big in the Dark Souls games slash like universe, ethos, whatever, is that like the developers always tried to make the world feel like people actually live in it. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing the game, every like location, environment, like if you see an environment, like or like a location in the game, like in the distance, you will most likely be able to go there at some point in the game. Excuse me, I just need to check the stats for a second. Alright, anyways. Yeah, but if you see somewhere in the distance, you will probably be able to go there at some point. Every single room kind of feels like, like it had some purpose in like this sort of Dark Ages-y kind of world, like every room probably could have been a part of something in some way, or like every environment like has like a reason and is explained by the narrative. Yeah, which is like, like a main focus of the series, in essence. And so that room, when you fight on the Lost, I think it's the Lost, it might be the Last, it doesn't matter. When you fight the Lost, I think it is the Lost, because there's definitely going to be lots of sinners, so I don't know why there'd be a last sinner. Sure. Anyways, how the game is developed, blah blah blah. I forgot what I was kind of saying. Oh yeah, Lost Sinner. I think it's the Lost Sinner. Anyways, whatever. Yeah. Alright, game stop for a second. Anyways, so the Lost, I guess like it's sort of like they're in jail, because the Lost Bastille is like, the Bastille, as people should probably know, is like a big prison in France and stuff like that, like, it's a prison, so it's a big prison. So the Lost Bastille, like the Lost Prison, essentially, whatever. The Lost Sinner is like this, robe, wearing, like tattered rags, wearing like a mask, and has like handcuffs on their hands, and they look like a prisoner, like an exceptionally powerful prisoner or something. I don't know too much about the lore of the game, so I'm not gonna get too much into that, but from what I can tell, boss fog walls, if you know anything about Dark Souls, boss fog walls, they kind of like, you walk through them, and like the fog wall, it's kind of like a doorway, and you push X or A to enter, and there's either going to be a boss or just another area of the game past it. And so this, I don't think necessarily that the boss fog wall acts as a barrier to bosses. If it does, that's a little weird, but like whatever. But you think that the Lost Sinner would kind of inhabit the area, like right next to where like I'm saying it's a she because in the game, like the game refers to her or it as a she, so I'm just gonna say she. But you think that she would like live in a room that's like right next to like where she is, right? And like she's not that tall, so like she could like fit through the doorways and go back there and stuff. So I will admit that one does seem pretty lazy. But there are also in this video, I'm sorry I'm mentioning it now, there will be minor spoilers for Dark Souls 1. I mean Dark Souls 2, and if you played Dark Souls 1, there's probably going to be a pretty major spoiler that's going to come up. So like pretty major, meaning like I'm pretty much just going to give away the ending of Dark Souls 1. So if you haven't played Dark Souls 1 and you want to know the story, I would recommend like not watching this video, or like at least past like what time is it? Excuse me, checking the time real fast. I would not watch this video for like another, like after like 5 or 10 minutes. Alright, so don't watch it after that point. I will warn you when I'm about to drop the spoiler. Anyways. Later in the game, oh yeah, right now this is going to be a minor spoiler for Dark Souls 2, you're going to fight some other of these major bosses, and what these bosses, like the rooms I'm talking about with the bonfire in the middle that are kind of barren, that RockLeeSmile was complaining about, these are called primal bonfires, which are kind of like, you know, the main bonfires of like the old times and stuff like that. Like these like great like souls. If you know anything about Dark Souls, you know, like there's like powerful souls and stuff like that. So these powerful old creatures from the past are kind of like guarding these like old like very primal, you know, so primal. Uh-oh. That's not good. Hopefully he doesn't F us over too bad. Anyways. But yes. Anyways, what was I discussing? Excuse me. Okay, so that meant nothing. Alright. So, primal bonfires are the rooms where with the bonfires in them that are sort of empty. First bonfire that you go to, primal bonfire, in the after the Lost Sinner boss fight, I can concede that one seemed like kind of lazy. However, for most of the other primal bonfires, I don't think it would necessarily make sense for them to be overly decorated, because one of those primal bonfires is next to a boss called the Rotten, which is essentially this giant monster with a giant meat cleaver that attacks you with the meat cleaver. You know, I don't know why that was a necessary detail. Anyways, main point of this, he's really, really big. And then the primal bonfire after him is in this small, like barely like man-sized cave like opening, and then you walk into like this small cave that isn't like, you know, too big. It's a cave. So there's no way that this guy could have fit into this hole. So there's no way that he could have really like decorated it or anything, or like made it like lived in it or anything like that. It looks like, because he's like in this arena that's sort of like a flame, like lava place, you know, like that. So he's like in a place like that. So I would understand why he wouldn't be able to get in there. Like I'm saying again, I don't know too much about the lore, so maybe there is a lore reason why he would have been like guards of the primal bonfires. I don't think that they necessarily go in there and like maintain them, more or less to them. So it would make sense for him not to have been able to kind of get in there and kind of live in there. And then also another boss, one of the main bosses that guards a primal bonfire, is called the Duke's Dear Freja, or Freja, or however you pronounce it, F-R-E-J-A. If you know how to pronounce it, tell me, whatever. I don't think it really matters. Which is essentially a giant spider. And yet again, it's like, this is a giant spider. Now, this time, people would argue, well, there's a guy, you know, the Duke, essentially, like, because, like, you know, there's kind of like this, insinuation that, like, the Dukes, you know, D-U-K-E, and then apostrophe S. So, you know, the Duke's Dear Freja. I don't know what a Freja is. I think it's like a friend or loved one or something like that. Whatever. So, like, it's kind of insinuated that this guy kind of, like, watches after the spider, made the spider, something like that. Or, you know, like, owns the spider. Or loves the spider, whatever Freja means. So, you would think that that guy might have wanted to live in the bonfire room. Well, the thing is that in the primal bonfire room, there's like this guy that's just that there's a headless guy, and like you find his head probably earlier in the game. I think that you'd actually essentially have to really find the head earlier in the game. Maybe not. Maybe you pass it up because it's like in a shady, not shady, foggy area of the Lost Woods, or is it the Shaded Woods? I think is what it's called. Sorry, I don't. I don't like, you know, memorize like all of the names of all the places. I just kind of, you know, play through the game. But this is like the head's body, and like it's attacking you. So if I was like this Duke guy, that means that either like the headless man down there is gonna attack me, or like he took over this like the headless you know, the headless body, and like is using it to guard the bonfire like some more, you know. So like there wouldn't really be a reason for like, because this guy, like the game alludes to the fact that this guy is like this kind of like berserker, like, you know, like super good like kind of fighter, you know, that like kind of like goes into like a bloodlust and like acts like all animalistic and stuff like that. So, you know, like there's like kind of like a reason like why the Duke would either be scared to kind of go down there and have to face like this would be scared to kind of go down there and face this like kind of just like animalistic, like just berserker guy that would kill him, or there'd be a reason like why this Duke would want to like cast a spell or whatever, I don't know, and like somehow control this headless body to just like guard the primal bonfire in case someone manages to get past the spider and him, you know, because you do have to sorta fight the Duke as well, although really I didn't have to because it's pretty easy. You just kind of sneak up behind him and kill him, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Whew, excuse me. Anyways, so yeah, like there is like that is a reason, because like why would like a headless body need to be like living in this just room with like this bonfire? Like all the body would need to do was just sit there and either guard, or like the body is like going berserker mode like crazy, you know, so like it wouldn't really be worried about being comfortable like living in this like room. It'd just be sitting there like waiting for someone to kill or something like that, you know what I mean? And then the other major boss is this giant like bullhead demon guy. You know, this is like the old Iron King, and the story of the Iron King's place is that it got like used to be it's a castle made of iron, or like something like along that sort. And then like one day like he was like digging for iron or something like that, or like he like awakened something like inside of a volcano, and the castle was consumed by lava, or fire. It was consumed by fire, and then like the king was like corrupted by a demon. And so now the king is like this giant like bull-headed like fire demon that's like spits lava and stuff. And also essentially this bonfire also is like in a way smaller, this primal bonfire is in a way smaller room. It's like completely separated from the rest of the castle. And so like obviously this bonfire, this primal bonfire was kind of just put out of the way, because like there's no reason to have it like in the center of the castle, because it's a castle. Like this guy would expect that since it's a castle, it'd be kind of hard to go through a whole castle to get to this bonfire. So, and I'm gonna kind of go with the assumption that these guys aren't necessarily there to live in these primal bonfires or whatever. They're more or less just guarding it from people. So like that like to me that makes sense. But maybe with the Lost Sinner you could have made a case or something, but I think for the other three main bosses it kind of makes sense why it would be sparse decorations. Now I don't know if this is necessarily a a sentiment that was shared, or had a problem with how the game's story. Well, it was kind of before the game came out, but they had a problem. But it also is sort of coming like after the game came out, and people were kind of having a problem with like this, how the game company set out to do their storytelling for the game. Like, when they were making the game, they said, we're gonna make the game, like, the game story, a lot easier to get into, for new players and stuff like that, and for people that don't, like, want to dig into the game, like for, like, hours on end. Excuse me. For hours on end, just to, like, get a basic story out of the game. Which, like, that's like, I don't have a problem with that, but some people think that is, but some people think that that's going to be bad for the game, because now, like, they're going to make the game newbie friendly and all that stuff, just, like, so, just so the general audience can, kind of understand the game. And I don't really necessarily buy into this sort of like gamer elitism or something like that, or stuff like that, where people are like, Dark Souls, this is like a game for just the hardcore gamers, and only hardcore gamers should be able to like appreciate the game and how good it is. A game is only good if, like, pretty much anybody that gives the game a good shot and like goes out of their, like, kind of goes out of their way to try to enjoy the game, and like they find something to enjoy the game, about, like this kind of like seems like I'm kind of going like, like the Call of Duty style of making a game, where it's like, oh, it's like now it's like everybody can essentially like the game because it's so easy for new people. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, if anybody that plays the game and goes out of and like goes into the game trying to enjoy the game, or trying to find things that they'll like about the game, they should find something that they enjoy about the game. And so, From Software, just sort of like lowering the bar, like the amount of like time that people have to sink into this game to enjoy the experience, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And like, even like today, there's still like kind of like hidden kind of story elements that are put into place in the game. Now, right now, I'm warning about spoilers from Dark Souls 1 story. So, if you are worried about getting something spoiled from Dark Souls 1, I would recommend kind of stopping the video like right now. If you're not worried, then I'm just gonna go ahead anyways and just say what I'm gonna say. So I was playing the game today, and I was playing my third new character, which is sort of it's gonna be a quality build, and if you don't know what that is, it's like I'm pretty sure. Don't take my word for it, but from what I've heard, it's a character made like a strength and dexterity build, So like, you can essentially use almost every weapon one-handed, almost every weapon. Like, maybe not like the 50, strength weapon, like those weapons maybe not, but you can essentially use most weapons like up to like 30 strength and like 30 dexterity, if those exist. It's like, that kind of scares me to think of that type of weapon exists. But yeah, you can use essentially all of those different types of weapons. Anyways, sorry, just checking out the landscape, political landscape, that is. Anyways, I was playing, what was I talking about? Excuse me for a second. Blah blah blah. Well, anyways, whatever I was talking about. Sorry, you know, like I said, I'm a little rusty to commentating and stuff, and I really should have written this down, but I kind of want to get my thoughts out there. Anyways, I was playing the game today, and I got on this thing called Sublime Bone Dust. And in the description of the item, it says something about, it says like these are the ashes, these are like what people say are the ashes of an old hero that sacrificed himself to save, like, essentially, like, you know, civilization or the world or like whatever, you know what I mean? So like, it says, it alludes to something of like that. And like, I find that like really I find that to be really interesting storytelling. When like a game, like whether it be a game, a story, or a movie, it acknowledges, you know, that it's like it might like be referring to something from like an older game, if it's like a game, or like a past book, or like something like, if it's like, you know, something like that, of that sort. It's like, it's pretty much telling you there's information it's not giving you, and like, it's just sitting there, and it's just like, if you want to make your own opinions, make your own opinions. I find that to be like really, like a really interesting way of storytelling, and I feel like From Software is still making this game like deep, you know, like it's still deep enough that like, if you want to dig into the game, you can still dig into the game and like, you know, find out like the story. So I don't feel like From Software has necessarily abandoned the hardcore, you know, you know, quotation marks, gaming audience, or like, you know, like some people are saying they are. I feel like they just made the story easier to get into for just the people that just want to play the game once, the people that are new to the to the Soul series of games, and stuff like that. And like, those are just two main like kind of opinions, kind of explaining stuff about the games. Long-winded, probably not the best discussion that you've ever heard in your life, but I just kind of wanted to get my opinions out there. This has probably been a really, really long video. Oh yeah, it's been long. So I'm just gonna end it here. If you watched this to the end, thank you so much for listening to my drivel for like 40 or 50 minutes, like that. That's almost an hour long, if not an hour long video. Thank you for watching and listening. Just thank you. Blah. Like, comment, subscribe. If you liked this video, if you liked Crusader Kings 2, although we didn't really discuss Crusader Kings 2 that much, sorry about that. Although not much is really going on, we're just taking over new lands. We took over these lands and stuff like that. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. Bye. End the video already.